Everyone, I'm Sachinta and welcome to Simply Economics. In this video, we'll continue about the price elasticity of demand and talk about both XED and YED. Now finally about PED, let's discuss the determinants of PED. Now depending on the determinants, we can classify these goods and services as elastic and or inelastic demands. Now let's look at the determinant and then classify. Now the availability of substitute. If there's a high availability of substitute, for example for a vanilla milk packet, there's a lot of substitutes, so it will be elastic. Why? A slightest increase of price, there are so many substitutes, so people will rather buy one of those substitutes. But for something like water, there's no substitute, so it will be inelastic. The range of the definition. Now if you define some products in a narrow way, that means you define it as carrots. Okay, now instead of buying carrots, there are so many other things that person could buy if there's an increase in price. However, when it's inelastic, that is broadly defined, you call it vegetables. All right, so instead of vegetables, there's only a few things you can buy, but instead of carrots you can buy so many other things. So something like that. The percentage of income. Now if a high percentage of income, just assume you have 200 rupees, that's your income, and a milk powder is 150 rupees. All right, so you can buy, but then if there's a change in price, you'll be spending more of your income, so you'll think twice about buying it again. Alright, however, if it's a small percentage, now a pen is 10 rupees, if it changes to 12 rupees, it's a small percentage of your income, so you won't hesitate in buying it. And the benefit you receive out of that good or service. Now if it's a small benefit, now custard, you can do without it. If the price increases, you will say, I don't really need this. But electricity, you will definitely go and pay your bill, because even if the price increases, you will pay it because you need it. All right, the necessity, if it's a low necessity, now you don't really need a Rolls Royce. If the price increases a lot, you won't go and buy it, but you need to eat rice, so no matter what the price is, you will go and buy it. So it's inelastic. Then the time lapse. Now a long term after the price has been changed, it will be elastic. All right, so you will be like, for a long time I've been doing this, so you'll slowly everything becomes elastic after a certain period of time. But as soon as there's a price change, most of the time people don't suddenly drop buying it, so immediately after a price change, most of the time goods and services tend to be inelastic. Right, so SpongeBob knows how demand becomes elastic over time. Right, so XED. Now this is the responsiveness of demand of the concerned good with regard to specific degree of change in the price of a related good. Now what are related goods? Complementary goods, substitute goods, and there's another category that is independent goods, that is goods that are not related. Now these three separate XED curves represent what each of these goods look like. Now XED is positive, that is the first one, for substitute goods. Why is that? When the price of the substitute good increases, the demand for our good increases. Alright, so look at but remember, it's price of X with regard to the demand for Y, not demand for X. That will be wrong. Okay, we are talking about the price of substitute goods in comparison to the demand of our good. Alright, so Y is our good, X is the other good. Right, and if X is a substitute goods, when the price of X increases, the demand for quantity demanded for Y will increase. Therefore there will be a positive relationship, and the larger the value of XED, the closer the substitute. And XED is negative for complementary goods. Why is that? When the price of now for example, for a substitute good, we have coffee and tea. If the price of if our product is coffee, and if the price of tea has increased largely, people will buy more coffee, so our demand will increase. Now but complementary goods may be sugar and tea. Now if the price of tea has increased a lot and we are selling sugar, so people will not buy much sugar because they are not drinking tea anymore. Simple. And XED is 0 for independent goods. Tea and shoes, not relevant at all. So because the Now if the price of, no matter how much the price of tea increases, the people who want shoes will buy shoes. No one drinks tea and shoes or whatever, all right, not related. So why we need to study the XED? This is very important actually, and you can use this on practical problems. Okay, so you basically get to know the product's cross price elasticity of demand for other related products, allows firms to understand the market, first thing, all right, and then to understand competitors and the sensitivity of their sales, all right, and also provides information to reduce the firm's exposure to financial risk. Now if there's a very close substitute, all right, you know it will be a risk to increase the price or whatever, all right, and this is used both even competing against complementary products also, all right. So you watch, okay, and if the price of a complementary good falls, all right, you know there will be more demand for your good, so you can be ready for those stuff. Also used by governments for policy decisions. Basically if we impose a tax on this product, it will affect this product, all right, that's basically what that means. And then evaluate monopoly powers in the market. Now if there are no substitutes for a certain goods, if there's only one brand for a certain type of goods, that means there's a monopoly in the market, all right. So this is good for possible producers as well as for governments. So these things happen. Anyway, the final type of elasticity of demand is income elasticity of demand. All right, so income elasticity of demand is the responsiveness of the quantity demanded of a certain good in respect to the change in the consumer's income, all right. So based on the change of your income, how quantity demanded of a certain good will change. Now this thing is very, so the equation is the same, all right, percentage change in quantity demand over percentage change in income. Now earlier it was percentage change in price of a related goods, and in PED it was percentage change in price, all right. Now here it is percentage change in income, which you divide, all right. So how do we categorize goods based on income elasticity of demand? It's there, right there, all right, inferior, normal and luxury goods. Now if income elasticity is less than 0, that is if income elasticity is negative, that means when your income has increased, the quantity demanded for that good has reduced. Now an example is traveling by bus, all right. Now when your income increases, you can afford to travel by your own vehicle, so then the demand for bus rides will reduce. You get it? So therefore the bus ride, the bus ticket or the expenditure on bus becomes an inferior good. A normal good would be when your income increases, you buy more of a certain goods. So for normal goods, the income elasticity ranges from 0 to 1, so it will be a decimal value, all right. So it's a slight thing. When your income slightly increases, you'll be buying more of this good. But then for a luxury good, for it to be categorized as a luxury good, there should be a drastic increase in your income with comparison to the quantity increase in quantity demanded, all right. For example, vehicles and all, those are luxury goods. You need a large increase in your income in order for that to respond, in order for the quantity demand for respond, right. So why do we use the income elasticity of demand? Now I exaggerate a lot on these uses, because unless you understand why you use this, there's no point in learning this, all right. So don't look at the guy, just look at the points. So businesses can make better strategies when identifying whether goods are essential or luxury, all right. So if you know that your good is a luxury good, you know the crowd will be buying your product, all right. And governments can make policies. Now for example, remember I told you in command economies how essential goods, there's basically no taxes on it and it's affordable, while on luxury goods those are very expensive and all, so only a small crowd can buy that, all right. So there's a lot of taxes, and so if governments want to restrict things such as alcohol and cigarettes, now there's a lot of taxes on those stuff as well, and then reveals the structural changes in the economy. All right, so how different basically whether your economy is getting richer, you can identify those. How when there are more luxury products bought, that means the income of your economy has increased. All right, so those are different ways in identifying structural changes in your economy. So I hope you could do that, but nope. And finally, I decided to upload the one before last page of my book. Don't ask about the last page, but so this is basically a summary, all right, of PED, XED, and YED. All right, so if you guys also can draw something like this and hang it on your rooms, it will be very helpful, because you will never get confused. All right, it's very simple, but the questions are complicated, but this is the base for all those answers that you need. Right, thank you.